Hi guys, this is Amar and welcome to Network Engineer Stuff. So guys, in this video we are going to focus on top 10 scenario based network interview question and answers for L1 network engineer. So this video will have those questions which will test basic network understanding of an L1 engineer. It will of course test the practical knowledge at the troubleshooting skill of an L1 network engineer. So guys, let's get started with question number 1. Network suddenly down for everyone in one floor. So the interviewer may ask you this question that let's say you are handling an office network and this office basically consists of multi-floor building, and you receive a call from one of the floor, let's say third floor, that all the users on the third floors are facing network issue. They're not having any network. So as an engineer, as a network engineer, what you can check? Now the thing what you can check is, since users are facing the issue, so whenever we say users, okay, the users are basically connected to which switches? Yes, they are connected to access switches. Okay, so you may be aware guys of this 3-tier architecture, this core layer, distribution layer, access layer. So users are always connected to this access layer switches. Here, okay, you will have the users, a lot of users. So this is, let's say this is that third floor switch, which is a problematic switch. Now the first thing what we will check is, if you have the access to the switch, you can immediately telnet or SSH into the switch and check whether the switch is reachable or not. This is the very first thing you can do. Let's say if it is reachable, the thing what you can check is, you have to check the status of the uplinks. Now what are these uplinks? Uplinks, now in this case, if you see here, okay, this is our access layer switch. Okay, this is distribution layer switches, this switch, this switch. Now if you see, it have this green color links, okay, which are uplinks because they are connecting to one layer above it. So these are uplinks. Okay, so you immediately log in into the switch and you can check the status of this link, of this interfaces. How you can check? By giving this command, show interface status. Okay, so by giving this command, you can immediately check the status of all the links, which will of course include this uplinks also. Okay, we can also check by giving this command. You can also get this status of this downlinks. Now the downlinks will be those links which are getting connected to the users. Okay, so this is the command you can go and check. Another command you can check is show CDP neighbors. Now if this switch is Cisco switch, this switch is a Cisco switch, you can go and use this command, show CDP neighbors. Now because it will discover the neighbors, you will get to know whether those neighbors are getting discovered or not, whether those neighbors are live or not. So these two commands guys, I'll recommend you can mention when you are answering not even this question, but any interview question which is related to this access layers issue or any switching related problem. You know, you can mention this particular two commands. Okay, and it's always better to mention commands because the interviewer will get an idea that you are aware of the commands. So guys, please do remember this point. Now the other thing what you can do is, let's say you're not able to log in into that particular switch, you know, it is not reachable. Now what you can do it is, you have to rush to that floor and you have to get it checked whether this particular switch is power on or not. You have to check whether these uplinks are properly connected or not. If there are users which are accessing the Wi-Fi's, you can check whether the access points are having any power issue or not. You can check the patch panel of that floor, whether that is having a power issue or not. So a lot of times there are issues which are related to power also. So you can check those things. Now you have answered this much for this particular question. Now the interviewer may ask you, okay, fine, everything is good. You've checked everything, the interfaces are up in CDP neighbors on the access switch. I'm able to see the distribution layer switches. That is fine. Everything is working fine. Now, what else can be checked if this is not an issue? Or what will be the other issue if this is not an issue? Now, this kind of questions many times may or may not have the logic, but you are a subscriber of Network Engineer Stuff, so you have to always be prepared for extra question, because in scenario based questions you will get multiple sub question for a question. So the other thing what you can answer is that you can go and check for any accidental loop, which many a times can be a physical loop. Now let's say this is a switch. Okay, now this switch is going to have multiple ports. Now let's say there is a cable which is connected to two different ports of the same switch. Now this can create a loop. Okay, so accidental loop, we normally say it as an accidental loop. Now you can remove this accidental loop, which may solve the problem. Now this is one thing, practical thing. A problem can be there. Another problem, or whether the loop is there or not. L2 loop is there or not. Now interviewer will always try to understand that how you can handle such kind of situation where there is an L2 loop. Now whenever we talk about L2 loop, we talk about STP, that is spanning tree protocol. Now immediately give the answer that, sir, I'll immediately log into switch and check show spanning tree, and I'll check whether spanning tree is enabled or disabled. If it is disabled, I'll enable it. Now by default, it is enabled only. So this kind of answers you can give when you are answering this access layer issues in your interviews. Now let's move to question number 2. You are unable to SSH into a router. What you can do? What you can check? Now I'm trying to log in into a router, but I'm not able to log in. What I can check? The very first thing, again, whenever it is network, you can check ping. You can check the router's IP. You can ping that router IP whether it is reachable or not. And you know, if it is not reachable, if the ping is failing, then what are things you can do is you can check the cables, whether any cable is removed from the router or not. You know, whether there is any layer 1 issue, physical layer issue. Okay. Now since the ping is failing, you cannot even anyways you are not able to SSH. So the option what you have is to take the console of that router. Now taking the console of that router means, like, this is the diagram which I have shown here. Like, this is the diagram which shows you this console port. If I'm able to zoom it, let me check. Yes. So yeah, so this is our console port. Okay, so this is the backside of your router. Now on this console port you can connect one laptop, okay, and get the access of this particular router. Now once you get the access of the router, you can better check the interface status of the router. Again, here you can use this command, show IP interface brief. This is my favorite command, show IP interface brief. So you can use this command and check whether the interfaces are up or not. See guys, again the same thing, interfaces. You can check whether the IP addressing or the subnetting, there is an issue in the configuration or not, whether I correctly configured the IP addresses on the interfaces or not. So this is one thing you can check if the ping is failing. most of the time you will get an issue with this layer 1 issue only if the ping is failing. If not, then there will be some issue in the configurational stuff of the interface at the interface level. Now, if the ping is working, if the ping is fine, okay, I'm able to ping it, but I'm not able to SSH. Immediately what you can do is you can try to telnet. Try to telnet, check whether, SSH is port number 22. If port number 22 is not working, let's try port number 23. That is telnet. And even if you are not able to telnet, then take this console. Now, once you take the console, where the IP is reachable, once you take the console, what are the things you can check now? Now we have to check the things related to SSH. Give this command on the router. Show running config pipe include SSH. Show running config section line VTY. Always remember these two commands. Okay. After executing these commands, you have to check whether your IP domain name is configured or not, which is required for SSH. You have to check whether your crypto key are properly generated or not. So you have to check whether this configuration is present or not. Crypto key generate RSA, whether this was executed or not. You have to check it, and you can give these two commands. You can check it. Okay, you have to check whether login local is configured or not. This particular command is configured or not. Now this will be under this line VTY. Line VTY. Okay. So login local you checked. You have to check transport input SSH. Now this is 90% of times this is not configured. Okay. Either here telnet is configured. So you can telnet. Okay. Now, if in case transport input telnet is configured, you can only telnet. Transport input SSH, you can only SSH. Now, there's one more command, transport input all. So you can telnet also, you can SSH also. So check for this command whether this is configured or not. And mostly this is not an issue, but I have mentioned here at least one local user should be defined. So there should be some one local username and password which need to be configured if you wanted to SSH into that router. So these are the possible things you can check. Now you answer this much. If the ping is failing, you can check all these things. If the ping is passing, okay, you will check telnet, not telnet. Again, you will take the console and you can check the configurational stuff related to SSH and line VTY. Now, apart from this, if the interviewer is again asking, no, this is fine, everything is okay, what else we can check? Now, here becomes tricky. Now, here it is a deciding point whether you are going to get selected or not. But again, you are a subscriber of Network Engineer Stuff, so let's check what else we can check further. Now, you can check what is ACL. You can check whether there is any access list which is blocking SSH, blocking port number 22, because many times what happens is that you will have this WAN devices, edge devices where you will find lot of access list are configured blocking port number 22. So you check whether your IP is present in it or not. So that can be a problem. Or if that is also not a problem, you better call firewall team. If there is a different team, in most of the organization there is a different team for network, there is a different team for security. It is firewall. So you better call firewall team and you check whether there is any rule on the firewall which is blocking port number 22 for accessing this particular router. Okay. So most of the time the security or the firewall engineer will ask for your IP, which will be the source IP, and the destination IP will be the router's IP. So these are all the things you can check. Okay. Let's move to question number 3. A server is experiencing high latency when pinged from user machine. What would you check? Now, if you see this pattern of this scenario based question, always this ping comes into picture. Now, as a network engineer, guys, you will have a lot of friends, but always remember that you have two best friends, ping and traceroute. If you wanted to become a good network engineer, be familiar with these two commands, ping and traceroute, because these are your friends. These are the tools, these are the commands which help you troubleshooting. These are the commands from where you start troubleshooting the issue. So what you can do is, basically a server is experiencing high latency when ping from users machine. So whenever all the users are trying to access the server, they're facing some slowness in the issue, sometime connectivity issue, so you check with ping. Now when you execute ping command, it gives you layer 3 status of that particular server. So you will see whether there's any drop in the ping. Okay, out of 5 packets, let's say 2 packets get dropped, so there is an issue. Or you will see there is a lot of latency when the packet are getting they are getting echo back. There's an latency. So better you can check with this traceroute command. Now for Windows, the command is traceroute. Now let's say this is 10.10.10.10. This is your server IP. Okay. Now this traceroute command will give you hop by hop latency. Now by seeing this hop, you can discover that in this particular hop, let's say this hop, you are getting an issue. So you can directly jump into this hop, into this particular device, and check whether there's an issue or not. This is one thing what you can do. The other thing is that since this particular command traceroute will give you the complete route from source to destination. Okay, let's say this is the user machine, the source, and it is connected to some switch, again to some switch, maybe to some WAN router, maybe again some switch, maybe here is the server. So hop by hop, this is first hop, second hop, third hop, fourth hop, fifth hop, sixth hop. So hop by hop, you can check this interfaces. Now these are all the interfaces. You can check whether this interfaces, I mentioned over here, interfaces, whether there are any errors or drop on this interfaces. Now this is hop by hop checking of whether you are having some issue. Now let's say we were getting the issue in this fifth hop. Let's say here was an issue. Here you are getting a lot of latency. Maybe you can check this particular interface and check whether you are getting any drop or not. Again, you can mention the commands when you are answering this question. What will be the command? Show interface, and mention the interface. So you will get to know whether there is any drop or not, whether any duplex mismatch or not. That also you can check. Now all these stuffs you can check. Now this is how we can troubleshoot the issue. Now again, if you see that all this particular part of your network is fine till here, you can better coordinate with this guy who is handling this server and tell him to check whether there is an issue with the server or not. What you will tell him to check is to check few things like the server's network card. Which tell him to check whether the server network card NIC is fine or not. You tell him to share the CPU utilization of the server, whether the CPU utilization of the server is fine or not, or you can escalate further to your L2 engineer to get it checked further. But most of the time, if you have done with this network checks from this particular port till this particular port, okay, which is under your control, then you can escalate further to server name to check it. Question number 4, guys. I think we will stop here in this video. For question number 4, we will make in some another video. maybe in part 2. We'll call this as part 1, and we will record this in part 2. So guys, I'll stop here. If you are really benefiting from this particular videos, if you are really finding this video useful, guys, please do let me know in the comment section, and please like this video, subscribe to my channel, which will motivate me to make more videos. So I'll stop here. We'll catch up in the next video with this question number 4. We have a lot of questions. We have, I think, 10 questions. So more interesting questions, guys. So catch up in the next video. Till then, bye, thanks, and take care.